Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. Bonjour à tous. Bonjour à toutes. Comment ça va? Ça va bien? Okay. I hope everybody's doing well. Hope this week is going well. Weekend, whatever time it is, whatever day y'all receive the video. Hope everything's going well. Okay. So this lesson is lesson 7. Crazy that we're already in lesson 7, but it's all right. It's going to be fun. We're going to talk about la musique. La musique, or in English, I'm pretty sure you could tell, music. So what are we going to cover? In this lesson, we're going to talk about vocabulary and grammar surrounding the topic of music. We're going to talk about types of music that are popular in France. And we're going to compare the music scenes between France and the US. And we're going to talk about the influence of American music on the French music scene. I wish I could say there was influence on the American music scene from the French side, but French music hasn't really broken through the barrier. I personally listen to French music. I know my family will listen to French music every now and then, but it's not often. And I don't know too many people that listen to French music, except for maybe other students who take French or other people who like French. So it's a very, very small community in America. So at least in my experience, I'm sure there's plenty of people who listen to it. It's just that I've not run into too many people myself. Excuse me. All right, first we're going to talk about la grammaire, or music, or excuse me, grammar about music. So first we have des verbes. Well, we only have des verbes. Des verbes. Excuse me, can't pronounce today. So first we have jouer. We talked about jouer with sports, but in this case, you could say something like jouer d'un instrument. And again, it's jouer d'un instrument, because you have the N and the I. Again, make that liaison, make that linkage. So you have jouer d'un instrument, ouais, which means to play an instrument. Next, we have chanter, chanter. It's like in the word enchanté when you say nice to meet you. Chanter, chanter means to sing. And in this case, you could say chanter une chanson. Chanter une chanson, to sing a song. And in my examples, like if you want to say I'm playing or I play or I'm singing or I sing, you can say je joue for I'm playing or I play, and je chante for I sing or I'm singing. Then we have écouter, to listen. And in this case, you could say écouter de la musique, to listen to music. Écrire, écrire means to write. Écrire de la musique, you'd say to write music. Excuse me. So again, in the examples I have, you have j'écoute for I'm listening or I listen, et j'écris for I'm writing or I write. So those are the verbs. Next, we have vocabulary. I got a lot of vocabulary for this lesson. Tried to give a good diversity of different instruments, people a part of the music process, different genres of music, so that everybody had a little piece of the pie, and that I wasn't just pertaining to a certain group of people. In case some people like guitar or drums, or maybe other people like rock or they don't like pop. So hopefully I give a good variety. So first we got some important words. Des mots importants. Some important words, like I said. La musique. La musique means music. Le blues. Le blues. The blues. La musique classique. La musique classique means classical music. Le jazz. Le jazz means jazz. Le folk. Le folk. Folk music. Le rock. Le rock. Rock and roll. Le hip hop. Le hip hop. Don't pronounce the H's. Hip hop. Le rap. Le rap. It's not rap. Le rap. Rap. Excuse me. Le pop. Le pop. Pop music. La musique électronique. La musique électronique. Electronic music. La musique country. La musique country. Country music. La musique du fond. Background music. Et la musique du sol. Soul music. So as you can see, all these words are pretty much cognates. They look the same, sound the same, they're just spelled differently. So, well, some of them are even spelled the same, like folk, rock, hip hop, rap, pop. So again, a lot of these are very similar. They're very simple to follow, easy to learn, hopefully easy to remember. Yeah. des mots en plus, des mots en plus. You got some more words. Une chanson is a song. Le temps is the beat. Le rythme, rhythm. Un chanteur or une chanteuse is a singer. Un musicien or une musicienne is a musician. Le or la guitariste is a guitarist. Doesn't matter what gender it is, it's spelled the same way for both. It's pretty much the same spelling except there's an E on the end in French. Le batteur or la batteuse, a drummer. Le rappeur et la rappeuse, a rapper. Or l'auteur, compositeur, singer-songwriter. So yeah, some more words again. Now we have instruments. I should have broken it up in a different way instead of just saying more words. But la guitare, guitar. La batterie, drums. La batterie is drums. La piano, it's not piano. It's not piano as in 3 syllables, it's 2 syllables. La piano, la piano. Le saxophone, le saxophone. Remember with that French O, it's not phone, it's fun, saxophone, the saxophone. Le violon, the violin. Le trompette, trumpet. Les claviers, keyboard. La clarinette, the clarinet. Et la flûte, la flûte. So again, pretty much almost all these words are cognates, either spelled, sound the same, very simple to memorize. Hopefully it's very simple. Even if it's not simple, you'll get the hang of it. It just, like everything else, it takes time. But again, these are just some instruments. Hopefully you all have some type of interest in them because it'll count when the activities come into play. Like I said, an activity. So une activité. And for this activity, you're going to partner up or talk to somebody closest to you if you can, or you can have a mock conversation by yourself if you have to. So these are the questions you're going to ask each other. Do you play an instrument? If not, what instrument would you be interested in? Or if you do play an instrument, which one is it? What's your favorite kind of music? And then what kind of music do you listen to the least? So you're going to ask each other the question in English, and you're going to give the response in French. You can go back and look at the vocab if you need to. So I'll do myself as an example. Do you play an instrument? Non or no. If, what instrument would I be interested in? I would be interested in la batterie or the drums. What kind of music is your favorite? Or what is your favorite kind of music? I would say le rock or what else would I do? Probably le rap, so rock or rap. And what kind of music do you listen to the least? Probably le sol or la musique sol or la musique, la musique sol or le jazz. Jazz or soul are probably the two I listen to the least. Excuse me. So yeah, try and just give your answers in French. Just trying to get you to use the vocabulary. Hopefully you get the hang of it. So la musique en France est aux États-Unis. So you have music in France and the United States. So I know I'm cutting it off a little bit with my face in the recording. So you have la musique généralement préférée en France. So the music generally preferred in France. A lot of this is opinionated from my own experience and my own interaction with the music. I didn't feel like I really needed to do. I did a little bit of research, just general stuff to find information. But again, mostly my opinion. I would say the most popular genres in French are pop, rap, dance music, or EDM or electronic dance music, and jazz. French rap and pop music heavily overlap in their music scene, and the rap scene is kind of making a big push into the mainstream French music scene. Pop I would say is probably the biggest, but you do get a lot of rap at the same time. And I think just like over here, rap and pop kind of blend, and it's very similar, and they're both very popular. There are plenty of clubs or bars or establishments in France, especially in Paris and other major cities, that often play rap or pop or hip hop, general hip hop music or dance music. Um, there are also plenty of jazz clubs or jazz bars in Paris, and they're really, really cool. And I have a small video. We're not gonna watch the entire thing, but we're gonna watch it a little bit, and you'll get to see what the atmosphere is like in the jazz club, which is really cool. A lot of them are actually, and a lot of clubs in general in Paris are underground because the city is very serious about being quiet past. There's like a certain curfew. It's like past 10 p.m. on work nights, you're quiet. And it's not like New York City or Philadelphia or LA or other major cities in the US where people are just loud and you kind of have to deal with it. No, these people are serious. Like I had a neighbor once who was playing really loud music, and a people from across the street in a different building were screaming at the other people because they wanted to be quiet because it was bedtime. It was, everybody had work, so they're very serious. So yeah, a lot of the clubs are underground and they're really cool. And for what I experienced, French rap is heavily influenced by American rap, and you can see a lot of parallels in the genre and the styles of rap, and you can see a lot of parallels in the pop too. And American music in France in general is very popular, and we'll talk about that more. Again, la musique généralement préférée aux États-Unis. Music generally preferred in the US. Again, sorry, I'm cutting it off. You can't see the whole États-Unis for the United States, but you can look at the old slide, excuse me. In the US, the genres I would say myself that are most preferred are probably rap, pop, and rock. I think those are the three most popular or most played. Um, I would say that alternative music is making its way into mainstream popularity, like alternative rock and whatnot, because there's major artists out there right now. Like I'd say Machine Gun Kelly, uh, Jaden, um, who else? I think Willow Smith and her band. There's plenty of people who are making alternative rock, and it's becoming popular, really popular, which is really cool because it's the type of music I like. I like alternative, heavy rock, metal, hard rock, whatever you want to call it, all those subgenres within rock and metal. And, it's really cool to see that. But I'd still say pop and rap are very much the most popular in our country, even though uh, alternative rock and punk rock or pop rock are making their way into the scene. I say American music is extremely influential all over the world, especially in France, where restaurants, clubs, bars, any place in public, even stores, they'll play music in the background or la musique du fond. They'll use background music and they'll use American music. American music is on the top 50 charts in France. If you look at the top 50 for France on Spotify, you could see that, Drake, Kanye, The Weeknd, who else? Doja Cat, I think Willow Smith, even Bruno Mars, other big name artists in pop, R&B, rap, or hip hop, and all that. They all chart in France. It's very influential. Um, it's very prevalent. So yeah, it's interesting to see. And then I would have to say the most overlooked genres in our country are probably country or folk. But I do think in where we live, maybe not where you live, but where I'm from in Pennsylvania, I'm from Southern Schuylkill County, and it's very broad. Our country is very, very popular. So, I listen to country here and there. It's been a part of my life growing up with, my grandfather and uncle love it. My dad loves it. Everybody, a lot of my family listens to it. So it's very prevalent in my life. So I think a lot of this is very subjective and it's very personal. But in general, I still think pop and rap, maybe you agree or disagree with me, but pop and rap are very popular. Yeah, I got two videos for you this lesson. We got this video talks about the influence of jazz in a part of the city called Montmartre. Montmartre. It's very hard to say, even in French. It's for me and for Americans in general. It's kind of hard to pronounce with the way it's spelled and the French pronunciation. But it's in the north part of the city, and it's been very influential, or it was influenced a lot by American jazz, and that's what this video explains.
In the years following World War I, African American jazz musicians began arriving in the Parisian neighborhood of Montmartre and changed how France felt about music forever. There was the saloon keeper, Bricktop, the scandalous star, Josephine Baker, the great clarinet and saxophone player, Sidney Bechet, and an ambitious entrepreneur and nightclub owner, Eugene Bullard. Together with French musicians and club owners, they became major figures in the nightlife of Paris.
Louis Mitchell had a tremendous impact on the music scene in Paris. He played at the Casino de Paris and met Miss Tanguette, the famous singer, and her protege, Maurice Chevalier, who were very much taken with this new form of music, which was still called rag, or as it was soon to be called, jazz. And Paris was swept away by this music. They were fascinated with Black musicians and Black American culture, and they wanted more of it. And so at first, Mitchell was leading a white orchestra at the Casino. He was teaching them to play rag. And the owner of the Casino de Paris, Leon Volterra, told Mitchell, you know what, go back to New York and bring me back 50 Black musicians, because we don't want French musicians, we want American Black musicians. Mitchell did bring back 5 players, and they formed a group called Mitchell's Jazz Kings. And they were in the Casino de Paris. They played their music for about 4 years. After playing with the Jazz Kings, he decided to go off on his own, and he opened restaurants. And these restaurants were lunch counters. They were kind of a combination of Harlem and Paris. So you would have jazz, somebody playing jazz in the corner, and you would have all night breakfasts. You know, all these people, they've been hanging out in Montmartre, all juiced up. And then you would go to Mitchell's and have your eggs and your bacon and your grits and your pancakes. And people were lined up for blocks. During this time, Pathé Records began to record, and they recorded with Mitchell's Jazz Kings probably the first jazz recording. It was in 1922, and it included the song "Ain't We Got Fun," which is a basic part of the jazz repertoire.
Okay. So yeah, it's really cool to see how much, even in the 20s, in the 1920s, how much American culture had an influence in France and Paris, especially Black American culture. It's so cool to see. You know, and you could parallel that with New York or maybe Philadelphia or other bustling cities of the 1920s. If you've learned in history class about, I'm sure you have at some point, about the Roaring Twenties and all that. You know, it's all very similar. This took place in Paris around the same time that it took place in the US because of how interested they were in jazz music. So it's so cool to see the parallel. And that's why I wanted to include this video, because it talks, it talks about that parallel, which is awesome. Come on now. Let me try to, there we go. So this video is a modern jazz club. I think the video was taken within the last 8 years. And it's a modern jazz club in Paris that's underground. It's a jazz bar. It's underground. And I hadn't been to a jazz bar myself when I was there, but I hear they were amazing. And a lot of them were described like this. They were underground, pretty much in like a cave. and they just have a couple musicians playing in the corner, um, and people just sit, enjoy themselves, listen to music. And I also wanted to mention in the last video, you could see the, all night breakfast, like the lady talked about. You could see that all night 24-hour diner culture that we have, like 60s or 50s diners that served you 24-hour breakfast. They're always open, and that's still prevalent in Paris. There's still 24-hour diners that serve you American breakfast in Paris. I had been to a couple, and they were really, really cool because it was genuine American breakfast, because a French breakfast is completely different. Um, but it was so nice to get like a taste of home, because it was authentic, like it was real. It wasn't their spin on an American breakfast. It was an actual American breakfast. It was cool. But let's get to this video before I talk for too long. Okay, I'll stop it there. It is really cool to listen to, and even though I did say jazz is one of the least, one of the genres that I listen to the least, it is. I still really like it. So, um, I'm a big fan of drums, so it's always fun to see drummers just improv the whole time. But anyway, yeah, this is the general atmosphere for a lot of different jazz clubs, and it's really cool. And I stopped it here because you just saw this woman bisou with the man, and we learned in the first lesson that's one of the major greetings. So you get to see a little bit of the French culture within, the mixture of the American culture. It's really cool. All right, so finally we got l'activité finale, final activity. So again, you're going to partner up with somebody, just have a 5 to 7 minute conversation trying to answer these questions. They don't need to be answered in French. This is just me trying to get you thinking about the different music scenes and thinking about the importance of music or the influences of music. So the first question you'd talk to each other about is, what do you think is personally is the most influential genre of music in the world today? Maybe not the world, if you can't think of that, because it is a heavy question. Maybe you don't know what countries listen to what genres, and genres could be different in different countries. So maybe not the world. What do you think would be the most influential genre of music in our country? Would you listen to French music more often? Would you check it out, or would you? If so, what genre? If not, why not? It's okay if you don't want to. Um, it's good practice. I listen to a lot. I listen to certain French rap. I really like it. I would have shown some of it, but it's not appropriate. But it's very similar to American rap, which is often not appropriate. So I couldn't share some of that and some of the music I like, which is fine because the jazz music is super cool and it's a cool parallel. But what genre are you interested in? Would you be interested in if you did listen to it? If not, again, why? And why do you think American music or even American culture overall is so influential in Europe and other parts of the world? It's a loaded question. It's a deep question, but why? What's so important about us? What's so important about American culture? Why do you think that is? Why isn't French culture on the same level as American culture? Not to say that one culture is better than the other, because all cultures are beautiful in their own way. But the thing is, why don't we listen to French music as much as they listen to American music? Is it the benefit of English being the universal language in the world, that we're just lucky enough that we live in a country that speaks English and speaks English primarily, and English again is spoken everywhere? Maybe that's what it is. Who knows? What do you think? I'm just trying to think. I'm trying to gauge what your thoughts are. So yeah, hopefully this is a fun discussion. Um, hopefully it was a fun activity, or hopefully it is a fun activity. Hopefully the lesson was really cool and you enjoyed it. I just want to say merci à vous tous et toutes. Thank you all so much. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. I'll be back. We'll be back next week for the next lesson. That lesson is going to cover animals. We're going to cover animals next time. So yeah, hopefully you had fun. Yeah, I will see you all next week. I hope everything goes well for the week. I hope everybody has a good time. Hope everybody's doing well in school. Hope everyone's enjoying school. I know it's rough. I know it's hard. Keep going. Keep working hard. Have fun. See y'all next week. Bye bye.